You've been in an abusive relationship before?
I've been in an emotionally abusive relationship. We weren't actually official. He wanted to be, and I said no. But yeah, I was in an emotionally abusive relationship.
How was it? What's an emotional abuse like?
Calling me names, telling me I was ugly, that I was worthless, alienating me from people, putting restrictions on me. Yeah, and just making me feel like they were the only person that I had and shit like that. So then it got to a point where you literally alienate yourself from like everyone else. So it's like a physically abusive relationship minus the hitting, but everything else goes on.
So how does that relationship happen, and how did he or she? Or was it he?
Yeah. I've never been with a girl.
Oh, not yet.
Not yet.
But how does that person get that power? Did you give him that power?
Yeah, honestly, and not in a blame the victim kind of way, but I was in a point in my life where I had just broken up with my ex. One of my friends was newly married. They just had a kid, and so she was very busy. I didn't see her often. And then another of my friends I stopped speaking to because she and herself was in an physically abusive relationship, and her boyfriend at the time alienated her from me, and so I didn't have anyone. And the only friend that I had was literally across the country. She lived in California, so I didn't have anyone. So I was literally at the end of like I had no like. Not like will to live, but I didn't give a fuck anymore. Like I had nothing left in me, and so it was really easy for him to get inside of my head and like manipulate me.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's why I had to explain to Vic one time. We got in an argument because he said that he doesn't understand how women can be in abusive relationships, just leave, and I was like, it's so much more complicated. It's not like it doesn't just start off with he just slaps you and that's it. I said this is a whole thing they do to like to manipulate you and shit. So it's deeper than that. And by the time you get to the point where you just give up and you give in, you've already checked out.
How did you escape?
I have a really stubborn personality. I've been stubborn my whole life, and I'm a really strong person. And I remember one time it was one of the times because for literally an entire year, every other day he would fart.
Like fart, yes.
He fart like every day, like it was crazy. No, every other day he would start a fight with me.
Yeah.
And one day he was like, "Bitch, you're ugly," some shit or whatever. I don't know. He just kept talking shit about how I was ugly and worthless and stuff. And I was like, one day I'm going to get in a relationship and it's going to be healthy and happy, and he's going to treat me like the princess I am. And like nothing you say is going to matter. I don't know where that came from. And then he's like, yeah, whatever, bitch, fuck you, this and that. And I was like, all right, cool. Say what you want to say. And then ended up meeting Victor like 5 months later or something like that. Mm-hmm. I had cut off that dude that I was messing with, and I met Vic, and my whole fucking life changed. And it was just like, I'd rather be alone than be with someone, but it showed me that like
partnership is real and you can have a partnership with somebody.
I remember I met Vic, and that same night, I don't know, I didn't care anymore. So I just told him everything. Like he asked about my situation and stuff, and I told him everything, and I was in an emotionally abusive relationship. And not knowing me whatsoever, he said, I'm going to make sure that your this year is amazing and you're not going to cry anymore. I'm going to make sure you never cry ever again. And he's kept his promise 5 years later. He made it one of the most amazing Christmases I've ever had, and I've never cried on Christmas from that Christmas on.
Aww.
And that's who you marry. Yeah. Not these fuckboys out here.